Hi guys, Seb again, and today we are with the Mazda CX-5 2.5 Turbo all-wheel drive, and it's considered by many as the perfect balance between comfort for the whole family as well as a slightly sportier driving experience for the driver. And this was actually introduced in 2019, but right now, is it still considered as a worthy contender in the ever-growing market of SUVs here in Malaysia? Well, we're here to find out, and here are the 5 top things that we like about the Mazda CX-5 2.5 Turbo all-wheel drive. Now, the first thing that I really like about the Mazda CX-5 is, of course, exterior design. Now, using the Kodo Soul of Motion signature design philosophy, the CX-5 represents 3 things: boldness, elegance, and maturity. So what you get is actually an SUV that represents speed as well as grace, and this is exactly what you're getting with the Mazda CX-5. Perhaps my favorite area for the exterior of the CX-5 has to be its front end. Now, the combination of the front grille with the adaptive LED headlights and the signature front wing finish in chrome is simply stunning. Now, this is actually one of the few cars that I would happily give way to on the highways if it happens to creep up on me in the rear view mirror, purely on how this front end looks. This is just 2 thumbs up from me lah. And that elegant design flows continuously from front all the way to the rear. And this is actually a huge compliment coming from myself, who's not really into SUVs all that much. The only downside that I can think of is probably its 19-inch wheels. On this one, the design that Mazda has chosen for the CX-5 makes them look a bit small. I mean, they still look nice though, but I think it would look slightly better with the other color options available for the CX-5, for example, like the jet black or machine grey. And I know for a fact that they look super awesome when paired with the Soul Red Crystal color option. Second thing that I like about the Mazda CX-5 is, of course, its very elegant interior setup. Now, like I've mentioned before, it has quality finishes all around. I especially like the use of this metal and wood trimmings on the dashboard, and it pairs really well with all the other soft touch materials that you will find on the door panels and other places of the car. Okay, the other thing that I like when driving the CX-5 is, of course, its multi-info display. Now, it comes with a 7-inch TFT screen right in the middle, and it's paired with analog counters on either side. So this is actually very good for the driver when it comes to checking out all the car's information, trips and whatnot, and it looks great. The 7-inch MZD Connect infotainment display, it is also considered by many as intuitive. You can control it by using the touchscreen over here or the center controls right over here. It's just that right now I feel like it's a bit small. For 7 inches in this whole setup of the Mazda CX-5 SUV, it's a bit small, but yeah, it is great to control nonetheless. Now, the third thing, and probably one of the biggest highlights for the Mazda CX-5 or any Mazda model in particular, is the seats. Now, comfort can be found no matter where you're seated in the car. And yes, you might find a more spacious cabin in other SUVs in its class. But when it comes to the seats, right, I think Mazda went above and beyond to ensure that the seats are one of the most comfortable and most supported seats in the SUV class. Now, this is because Mazda designed these seats to fully support the occupant's natural sitting position by offering ample support for things like your hips, spine, and even legs. Even as the driver, the feet positions were taken into consideration when designing this natural sitting position to ensure that you're never strained while driving the CX-5. Now, I've personally experienced this back in 2019 when we had a drive from KL to Penang, and the weird thing was I had more energy once we arrived in Penang, and that is purely because of how comfortable the seats are in the CX-5. I think it's very hard to compare in its segment. Now, the same levels of comfort can be said about the rear seats, although some folks might find it a bit cramped in the CX-5. You might, like I said before, you might find some bigger spaces in other SUVs in its class, but to me, with my height of 170 centimeters, I think it's okay. And yeah, it also supports your natural sitting positions when you're seated. I think, yeah. So this is the most recline that you can get, and yeah, I feel great. I have just enough leg room, just enough headroom, but anyone who's a bit taller might find it slightly more cramped. But yeah, if you want extra comfort in the CX-5, you can just put down the center console where you're given 2 extra cup holders, and yeah, a couple of USB ports to charge your devices, and a place to put your smartphone while it is charging. So again, they've also considered that some folks might be taller or bigger, which is why they've come up with this, just to add another level of comfort when it comes to sitting at the rear seats. When it comes to boot space, the Mazda CX-5 2.5 Turbo comes with 442 liters of rear storage space. Now, it's not the biggest in its class. You will find bigger in other models from other brands, but I think for a family of 4 or 5, it should be just enough if you don't overpack. So if, let's say, you have a baby like myself, a stroller would fit just nice here. A couple of big bags for a weekend getaway should be enough, as long as we don't do some extra shopping once we're there lah. But yeah, 442 liters, not the biggest, but I think for myself it's actually adequate. Now, the next obvious thing that I have to mention about the CX-5 is, of course, its performance. Now, earlier I mentioned that the CX-5 offers a great balance between overall comfort as well as some sporty driving dynamics. Now, this is offered thanks to its Skyactiv G 2.5 litre turbocharged engine, which produces around, if I'm not mistaken, 228 horsepower with 420 Newton meters of torque. Now, it's also fitted with something that Mazda calls a dynamic pressure turbo, which means that it ensures maximum drive force throughout the rev range, as well as reducing the amount of turbo lag found in its engine. So that means you can drive it sensibly. You can also just gun it and then it will take off. Speed is very nice when it comes to the 2.5 litre turbocharged engine. Of course, it won't snap you like to the back of your seat, but it's actually very, very impressive, to say the least. Okay, let's talk about fuel mileage. Now, when you're driving sensibly, all right, when you're driving it at a normal, relaxed pace, you can get it up to, I think, as low as 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah, that is quite, I think, I would say the most efficient, but it's actually quite impressive lah for the CX-5. I mean, but with that being said, you know, with the available powertrain and, you know, the driving dynamics that you get with the chassis, the suspension, the GVC Plus, you know, expect that number to be slightly higher lah, because, you know, you will be having a lot more fun that you won't notice that the mileage is climbing up. So the combination of the 2.5 litre turbocharged engine with the Skyactiv Drive 6-speed automatic transmission means that the torque and power delivery is very linear, but at the same time very exciting as well. Now, this is something that I really enjoy, and I really, how you say, appreciate when it comes to driving the CX-5. And when combined with another unique feature that can only be found in the CX-5, which is called the G Vectoring Control Plus or GVC Plus, that takes the CX-5 entire driving dynamics to a whole different level. Now the GVC Plus in particular, it works in tandem with the all-wheel drive system in making sure that the car is level at all times. So this means that it controls things like weight distribution, the brakes, the throttle, to ensure that there is little body roll when you're driving the car. Now this is very visible when you are gunning it into corners. And yeah, for an SUV of this nature, of this caliber, I think this is very impressive. You can't say this about every single SUV that you'll find, but yeah, this is one of the unique features in the Mazda CX-5. Now, last but not least is the pricing. Now, some folks might be on the fence when it comes to the pricing for the Mazda CX-5 2.5 Turbo. But yeah, if you're interested to get one of your very own, you can get it from 183,000 ringgit, and that goes up to 187,000 ringgit. And that depends on the color of your choice, whether it's metallic or one of the premium color options. Now, that price also includes a host of advanced safety features courtesy of the Mazda Eye Active Sense, which includes the adaptive LED headlights, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, smart city brake support, lane keep assist, and many more. Yeah, so at the end of the day, if I were given a choice to get only SUVs and I'm looking at this segment, of course the CX-5 will be very high up on my list. The only thing that I would probably change is the color option. I will never get it in white, because why would you? There are so many other better color options in the list. Putih susah gila kot nak jaga. Okay, ciao.